Who are BLNK and what do they do? Essentially, they are in electric vehicle charging stations, and yesterday they went up over 30%. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor, and check out this hoodie, people. We got a white hoodie. This thing is beautiful. I am going to be launching this merch at 20,000 subscribers. I nearly have all of the samples and it's all incredible. I'm so excited. But anyway, today we're speaking about BLNK, a play on electric vehicle charging stations. And you may remember about a month ago I made the ultimate electric vehicle stocks tier list video, and in that video I rated BLNK the 4th best stock after Tesla, Helion and Workhorse. So I have liked these guys for a little while, and I've actually been researching them quite a bit the last week or so, and I was meant to invest on Monday and I didn't. I was just doing my last few bits and pieces of research, getting ready to make this video for you guys, and I missed out on that 30% jump yesterday. But it is what it is, people. It's the stock market. These things happen. So today we're going to speak all about them, you know, what their future is looking like, the good, the bad, and everything in between. You know, on this channel, we love EV stocks, and I want to give you as much information as possible on this particularly interesting play. With that being said, right before we get into the video, can I please ask you to smash a like, as it genuinely helps me and the channel out so much. The support lately has truly been incredible, guys, and genuinely I have all of the love and appreciation in the world for this audience, this community we're creating, so thank you all. Also, please hit that juicy red sub button if you're new around here. Join the family, guys. We're uploading 10-11 videos a week, and of course please drop me a comment down below once you've watched this video. Let me know what you think of the video, and also just let me know if you're in BLNK or if you're thinking about getting into them. I'm always really interested in hearing from you guys. With that being said, let's get into it. So if you have no idea who BLNK are just yet, okay, BLNK is among the largest owner and operators of electric vehicle charging stations in the United States. And yesterday they went up 32.51% in value, closed the day at $9.62, and they actually had an intraday high of $10.08. It was an absolutely crazy day to say the least. And that $10.08 represented a yearly high. And if we have a look quickly, we can see that 27.87% of shares are held by insiders, 5.71% are held by institutions, and they currently have 19.14 million shares of flow. So they're in electric charging stations, obviously for electric vehicles. And I've been doing my research, and I watch a few YouTube videos, and I've seen a lot of people saying that there isn't any competition except for Tesla. And right off the bat, I want to get rid of this rumor, people. There is an awful lot of competition. Now, there's not that much publicly traded US competition, but there is a considerable amount of private competition. So some of the publicly traded competition, we have Envision Solar, okay, they're in sustainable technology innovations for EV charging, outdoor media and energy security. Relatively small company with a market cap of only 90.74 million, but they are also in EV charging stations. Just know that. There is by no means a monopoly between Tesla and BLNK, and this is pretty much their charging stations across the US. Then obviously we have Tesla, and we have the supercharger, and we'll get into this a little bit more later on, but you're all already aware of Tesla. There is a company called Fastned. Now Fastned is European, and it's primarily in the Netherlands. The Netherlands is, as far as Europe goes, incredibly ahead of most of us when it does come to electric vehicles. I've been there a couple of times. I'm actually meant to be going there in October, and you see these stations all over the place. We have a company called Alfen, again another solar based company who does have EV charging points. Alfen closely cooperates with various grid operators. We spoke about them in yesterday's video on CleanSpark. But I just want to show you guys that there's more than just BLNK out there. And don't get me wrong, I actually really like BLNK, but it's not because I think there's a monopoly. I just want to make sure you're aware there are loads of competition out there. A few more statistics before we get into BLNK directly. According to 3 studies, the global electric vehicle charging station market is forecast to grow at a compound annual growth rate of between 40.5 and 48.3% from 2019 to 26. That is insane. As of right now, remember I just spoke about the Netherlands. They have the most charging stations per kilometers of anywhere by far. They're smashing China, UK, Germany, and USA. USA is not doing the best, but this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a much bigger place. So we'll look at some leading global EV companies. Obviously Tesla, they're superchargers. Another private firm, Ionity. Electrify America, another private company, EVgo. ChargePoint Inc. A lot of you guys might have actually heard of this company, but again, they're private. This one is very exciting. They focus only on EV charging and are a global leading charging service provider. If ever these guys do go public, you will know about it. A lot of people will be speaking about it. Then we have BLNK. This is who we are focusing on today. Now, I mean, you already know me. You know I love investors' presentations. So let's get to it, baby. So currently there's 5,600 plus commercial EV charging stations in 40 states and 8,900 plus residential charging stations deployed. And they currently have a registered member base of 180,000 plus members, and that essentially means that you can use their charging stations cheaper than if you weren't a member. And you can become a member for free. So the pricing of how much it costs to charge a vehicle depends on where you are, but generally it's going to be 10 cents cheaper per kilowatt hour if you are a BLNK member. So if you're driving a lot, it definitely adds up, and it's free to become a BLNK member, so everybody should do this if you are using an electric vehicle. Now, yesterday I made a full video on why I personally do believe EVs are here to stay, and why I do believe it's going to be an absolutely massive disruptive market someday. But a quick little recap from BLNK themselves. Consumers want a green renewable transportation solution. Obviously, governments are passing legislation to ban internal combustion engine vehicles as soon as 2040 in a country like France, and most of the world by 2050. In 2018, US EV sales were up 81% from 2017. In 2019, it slowed down big time, but global car sales went down. EV car sales went up, I believe, 8%. And then 2020, again, I personally expect it to be a slow year because of the Roni, but that's nobody's fault. There's currently more than 1.2 million EVs in the US. The global EV market is expected to grow at a 25.6% compound annual growth rate from 19 to 26. And remember, the market for chargers is expected to grow at over 40%. By 2025, EV sales are projected to account for 30% of all global vehicle sales. And by the time we're getting into 2030 to 2040, I expect that to be a much larger percentage again. And EV's rapid growth stage is now. Look, I completely agree with this. It is disruptive innovation. It's disruptive technology. That's why I am getting so heavily involved in the EV market. Tesla, Helion and Workhorse in particular are what excite me, but I am heavily considering buying BLNK even after this price has gone up. EVs are now considered mainstream. Another point I brought up in yesterday's video, it used to be a bit of a joke if you owned an electric vehicle, but now it's actually the cool thing to do, you know? If you own a Tesla, you're cool, man. Car manufacturers are committed to EVs for obvious reasons, with a lot of pressure and support from the government. Battery costs are decreasing while battery capacity and energy density are increasing, which means the quality of the vehicles get better, but the pricing can come down lower while keeping margins up. Range anxiety is fading away, which is extremely important. EVs are more reliable and easier to maintain with fewer moving parts than ICE vehicles. ICE just stands for an internal combustion engine vehicle. So OEMs committed to go all in. Now, for somebody who's a big bull on EV, this is why I'm heavily considering putting some of my money into these charging station companies. If we're investing in an individual company, for example Workhorse or Helion, you know, things could ultimately go wrong. We could end up losing money in the long term. That's always a risk that's associated with trying to get into disruptive innovation. It's high risk, high reward. Something like BLNK, it's not as high risk in my opinion. When you see massive brand names such as here getting into the EV market, they're all going to need charging stations. They're all going to need infrastructure. 40 plus models currently available and more being announced each quarter. Improved EV battery technologies and scale continues to reduce EV prices and increase driving range. Ford plans an $11 billion investment and to introduce 40 electrified vehicles by 2020. It goes on with Porsche, it goes on with pretty much everybody, BMW, lots of big names. So investing in a company like BLNK may be a little bit safer in the long term than trying to pick out the next big company. But again, remember, there is loads of competition, people. It doesn't have a monopoly. A lot of people seem to be under the impression that this is pretty much the only big play on EV vehicle charging points right now, but it really isn't. So what do they actually do? Design, manufacture, sell and deploy these stations, obvious. Own, operate and maintain. They've already deployed 23,000 units since inception and generate revenue through charging EV drivers to power their cars, selling EV charging hardware and providing network connectivity and payment processing for our property partners. So BLNK history, this is quite cool, and of course we won't go through everything, but here you can just see the registered BLNK members is on a nice steady uptrend. Obviously we saw some crazy inflation in these 2 years because there was a lot more people getting into EV. We know 2017 and 2018 in particular were two really good years for EV sales. 2019 slowed down a bit, but the memberships did still go up. So a family of new generation 2 products. I won't get too into it, okay, but if we see this, a new generation of level 2 charging stations. BLNK IQ 200 level 2 AC EV charging station family. Network connected charging stations. Fastest level 2 charging available up to 80 amps. Several designs to suit different needs. Tracks every usage and BLNK handles the billing for the driver's flexible installation. BLNK OCPP v1.5 and v1.6J support and flexible installation at any size circuit breaker from 10 to 100 amps with 80% output at port. So the technology is getting better, simply put, which is something we always like to see. That's why a company like Tesla, for example, has done so well. Need to keep up to date with the times, and we need to be actually beating the competition. So look, the level 2 IQ 200 features, it's all what you'd expect. It's very self-explanatory. Fee options, payment methods, convenient, etc, etc. Internal meter to monitor energy and demand usage, supports real-time energy usage data evaluation, and controllable output to support utility demand response requests. Everything you would expect from a charger. And then they have the level 3 fast charging stations, which it's in the name, they just charge your car faster. This is where Tesla is dominating right now. They are smashing the fast charging station market. So they have clients across all verticals. Every parking space is an opportunity. So loads of big names here who are, potential clients. Parking and services, commercial, workplace, healthcare, education, retail, hospitality, food and beverage, entertainment, governmental, everywhere. Literally anywhere you go needs parking spaces these days. So something important, the power of our software systems, very important for EV companies. So BLNK cloud-based platform, real-time view of station locations, hours, pricing and availability, so you don't have to waste your time looking for these. Remote station monitoring for better customer support, streamlined payment processing for drivers and property owners, map and mobile integration including BLNK and other well-known platforms, and integrated reporting includes charging session details and revenue generated, as well as greenhouse gases saved. People love this stuff. The value of the BLNK network. We leverage the relationship with our property partners to quickly increase the number of deployed sites. We carefully select locations in high density markets, very, very important. Our business model suits a wide range of property types, as we just saw above, and our digital features and user experience engages drivers and property partners. All very, very good information. So, their revenue streams, obviously very important for a business. How do they make money? Energy sales, okay, obvious. Hardware sales, so direct sale of hardware to our host locations. Network management service, so there's a monthly network connectivity fee for each charging station, and monthly processing fees for transactions. Advertising, so generating income through advertising sales and available on various platforms including charging stations and mobile app. And energy services, providing green energy service to our partner locations and EV drivers through third-party providers. So the business models, particularly their partnership models. So obviously there is BLNK owned locations, straightforward. Hybrid owned. The hybrid owned models allows the location to provide the charging station to customers with BLNK covering the cost of equipment, operations and administration, while sharing a larger part of the revenues with the host. Host owned, perfect for service locations. Host owned is for those who want to be the owner and operator of the EV charging stations. And BLNK as a service. BLNK subscription program provides a location and EV charging station with low upfront costs and all the control of ownership without any of the hassle. So the competitive landscape, something that I am very, very happy is in this investor presentation. Now obviously, okay, when we look at the competitive landscape, it always looks best for the company we're looking at. That's just the way these presentations work. But now you see, we do see some of those big names that I was speaking about earlier on. But you can just see the comparison points between some of these other companies. And looking at this right off the bat, BLNK does look like a fantastic option for literally anybody who wants one of these. And like pretty much every EV company, their energy services, okay? Alternative energy solutions for our clients and drivers. So monetizing our locations by providing energy services to our partner locations and EV drivers through third-party services, green energy service, LED lighting, solar, demand response and storage. Combined with our EV charging services, we offer a complete package to our partners unmatched by anyone in the industry. Beautiful. Tasty, juicy. So some strategic partnerships. After the investor presentation, there's still a couple of other things I want to go through, but Google teams up with BLNK. BLNK enhanced its software to work seamlessly with Google Maps. Collaborations make it easier than ever to find BLNK charging stations in the US. Now, a quick search for keywords such as EV charging or EV charging stations will display the nearest BLNK station on Google Maps. Very cool. So they've partnered with Hubject for expanding charging coverage. BLNK expands into Israel with Carasso Motors. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And BLNK expands into Greece with Unite Energy. So they are taking these opportunities to expand, okay? And it fills me with confidence as an investor, because I believe that ultimately they'll be all over the world. Michael D. Farkas, the founder and CEO of BLNK. You know, we always have a look at the CEO's little brief history. He's led BLNK in its pursuit of EV charging across the US and the world since its beginning nearly 10 years ago. Prior to founding BLNK, Michael has established a track record as a successful principal investor across a variety of industries, including automotive, retail, telecommunications, agriculture, and aerospace. Interesting. So he's also the founder and CEO of Atlas Equity Group, president and CEO of the Farkas Group, founder and executive chairman, obviously, of BLNK, and the founder and CEO of Balance Labs. I've also watched a few videos from BLNK Charging's YouTube, okay? obviously interviews including the CEO. And this one here was quite interesting. They're speaking about the fact that they're going to have wireless charging for these vehicles. Have any of you ever used these things? They're like chargers for your phones. You put your phone on there and it starts charging. You see it just came on. You don't actually need to plug it in, which is extremely interesting and exciting. And after watching a couple of videos of this man, I quite like the way he comes across. And you know, I have to like the CEO of a company to feel comfortable investing in them, and I do quite like this man. And another thing he said about these wireless chargers is that they're pretty much out there already. They're just trying to commercialize them. And just 2 days ago, this came out. BLNK Charging and Enersys collaborate to develop high power inductive / wireless and enhanced DC fast charging systems with energy storage options for the automotive market. This is something extremely exciting, and this is probably a large reason of why the stock's price shot up over the last day or two. Disruptive technology, people. Disruptive technology. And BLNK seems to have a piece of news like this coming out every couple of weeks, people. And that fills investors with confidence. We love to see this. They also announced the installation of a new dual 80 amp IQ200 charging station in Oregon. But basically, this is just always happening. Now, the question that's always very hard to answer, okay? Do I plan on buying them? In less than 5 weeks, they're up 277%, which to me is generally a red flag, but this has been seen with a lot of EV companies as of late. I do think that a company like BLNK has a massive role to play going forwards, and I most certainly would like to open a position in this company. Not as much needs to go right with a company like BLNK as it does for, say, Workhorse or for Helion, you know. One piece of bad news, something not going right, those companies could tank for a considerable period of time. I really do want to open a position, but I will find it very hard to do so if the market opens at $11 a share. We can see the last time they went on a big 2-day run, they gave back 14% the value. And then they went on another run, and over the preceding days, they gave back over 30% the value. In the long term, I do think that $11 is still going to be a great price, but me personally, I'm just not necessarily in a rush to get into BLNK after such an inflated period. And also, I was planning on buying them Monday, so it would really hurt me to buy them now after I've missed out on over 60% of gains this week already. That hurts to say so much. But anyway, guys, that was BLNK Charging. As always, guys, if you have watched until the end of the video, I really do appreciate you so much. You are supporting this channel more than you know, and you are a true legend. I really do hope I was able to give you some value in this video, open your eyes up potentially to a new company, or just give you some sort of information that you weren't aware of, and ultimately gave you some entertainment. That is always the goals with these videos. Please though, if you are considering investing in this company, do some more due diligence. Don't just invest off the back of this video, or in fact any company I or anybody else on YouTube ever speaks about. Always form your own thoughts and opinions. With that being said, guys, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you tomorrow. It's coming up to the weekend, people. You already know what that means. Double uploads are incoming. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.